Jewish history isn't just about survival. It's about shaping the world in ways you never imagined. From ancient prophets to modern leaders, their journey is filled with resilience, wisdom, and transformation. This video uncovers hidden stories and deep truths that will change how you see history. Stay with us till the end to truly understand the impact of the Jewish people. The story of the Jewish people is not just a tale of history. It is a living, breathing testament to resilience, faith, and unyielding hope. From the ancient prophets who spoke of a future beyond their time to the modern leaders who forged a nation from the ashes of history, their journey has been one of trials, triumphs, and transformation. This is a story that speaks to the soul, a narrative that has shaped the very fabric of the world we know today. Imagine standing at the edge of history, gazing into the past, where ancient kings and prophets foretold the rise of a people whose influence would echo through the centuries. This script is a deep dive into that remarkable journey, one that spans thousands of years, from the prophetic voices that spoke of a promised land to the incredible perseverance of leaders who dared to rebuild a nation. It is a history that demands to be heard, understood, and celebrated. For Israel, this history is not just a record of events. It is the foundation of its existence. It is woven into every stone of Jerusalem, in every heartbeat of its people. The bloodline of ancient kings, the voices of prophets, and the struggle for freedom still resonate in the modern state of Israel. But this history isn't just significant for Israel. It is a story that has touched the lives of millions across the globe, a tale of survival against all odds, of a people who have faced persecution, exile, and loss, only to rise again, stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. In this journey, we will explore the prophecies that shaped their destiny, the ancient kings who built and destroyed kingdoms, and the trials they endured as they fought to preserve their identity through times of unimaginable hardship. But this isn't just about ancient history. It's about the lives of the modern leaders who carried the torch of their ancestors and ignited the flames of hope, shaping the future of a nation that would stand tall against all challenges. We'll uncover the struggles of the Jewish people through millennia, the wars, the exile, the Holocaust, and the miraculous rebirth of the state of Israel. We'll delve into the stories of the prophets who spoke of a future that was too far for their eyes to see, yet too real for the world to ignore. And we will witness how the voices of these ancient figures echo through the actions of modern leaders whose courage and determination changed the world. This is a story that will leave you captivated, inspired, and yearning for more. A history that is far more than just dates and events. It's a journey of the human spirit. A story that teaches us about faith, survival, and the power of never giving up. So, let's take a deep breath and journey through the centuries as we explore the remarkable history of the Jewish people, from the ancient prophets to the leaders of today. As we journey through the history of the Jewish people, we must first step back to a time where it all began. An ancient world filled with uncertainty, yet brimming with profound moments that would shape the course of history. At the heart of this story lies Abraham, the patriarch whose unwavering faith in a single God set the foundation for a people who would stand as a beacon of belief in the face of trials. Abraham's journey wasn't just a physical one, but a spiritual pilgrimage that would forever alter the destiny of his descendants. But the path was never easy. With Moses, the Jewish people would face their greatest challenge yet, slavery in Egypt. Yet, it was in the darkest moments that their faith would shine the brightest. Moses, a reluctant leader at first, became the voice of freedom, guiding his people out of oppression and into the wilderness. The Exodus was not just a physical escape. It marked the birth of the Jewish nation, united under the banner of a single, all-powerful God. King David would rise next, a warrior and poet, who would unite the scattered tribes into a kingdom. Under his reign, Jerusalem became more than just a city. It became the spiritual heart of a people who, despite being surrounded by enemies, would build a legacy rooted in faith, courage, and resilience. Through trials of war, loss, and betrayal, the Jews found strength in their identity, an identity that was now unmistakably tied to their belief in one God, and their unbreakable bond to the land of Israel. Their story, though marked by suffering, would set the stage for an enduring faith that would rise again and again, no matter how many times they were knocked down. The foundations were laid. The journey had only just begun. As the Jewish people began to settle into their identity, another force, prophecy, emerged, shaping their journey in ways they could never have imagined. It was no longer just about survival. It was about the future. The prophets, like Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Jeremiah, were not merely speakers of divine words. They were the voices of a people yearning for hope in times of uncertainty. These men were entrusted with the profound task of revealing God's will, often speaking to a nation divided, lost in the turbulence of exile and war. Isaiah, with his message of redemption, spoke of a day when the Jewish people would return to their land, despite the overwhelming darkness that loomed over them. His words were like a beacon of light piercing through the storm, assuring them that no matter how far they wandered, a path would always lead them back. Ezekiel, on the other hand, painted vivid visions of a valley of dry bones, symbolizing the revival of Israel from the ashes of its past. Through his eyes, the people saw not only the destruction, but also the miraculous rebirth of their spirit, a theme that would become central to their identity. Jeremiah's voice, filled with sorrow, warned of the consequences of turning away from their covenant with God. Yet, even in his grief, he carried the hope of a new covenant, one written not on tablets of stone, but on the hearts of the people. These prophets were the bridge between a scattered, struggling people and the promise of a structured, everlasting identity rooted in faith. As we look back at these revelations, we see how deeply they shaped the Jewish faith, a faith that would endure, transform, and ultimately pave the way for the coming generations. After the powerful words of the prophets, the Jewish people entered a new chapter, one of glory, but also one of great trial. Under King David, the kingdom of Israel had flourished, and his son Solomon built a magnificent temple in Jerusalem, symbolizing the unity and strength of the Jewish people. But this golden age was fleeting. The kingdom, once united, began to crumble under the weight of division, pride, and sin. The once mighty kingdom split into two, Israel to the north and Judah to the south. The decline of these kingdoms was inevitable, as internal strife and external enemies threatened their very existence. The kingdom of Israel fell first, taken by the Assyrians in 722 BCE. Their people were scattered, dispersed, and lost to history, leaving only their memories behind. Yet Judah, though weakened, remained steadfast. It wasn't long, however, before the Babylonian Empire cast its shadow over the land. In 586 BCE, Jerusalem itself was destroyed, the Holy Temple reduced to ruins, and the people of Judah were exiled to Babylon. The exile was not just a loss of land, it was a loss of identity. The Jewish people found themselves far from their sacred home, torn from their traditions and the very heartbeat of their culture. Yet, even in the depths of this despair, their resilience shone through. The very faith that had been passed down by prophets like Isaiah and Jeremiah was now tested to its core. The Jewish people, exiled and broken, clung to the belief that they were chosen, not for their land, but for their faith. This unshakable belief would carry them through the darkest days, as they preserved their identity and culture against all odds. The journey of the Jewish people continued, though the echoes of their past seemed distant. After the Babylonian exile, a flicker of hope emerged, the rebuilding of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. The once desolate city began to stir with life again, and for a brief moment, the people saw a glimmer of the glory that had been lost. This new temple symbolized their resilience, their return to faith, and the rekindling of a bond with their land. But just as the Jews began to reclaim what was theirs, a new power rose, the mighty Roman Empire. The Romans were not content to simply rule over Jerusalem. They sought to break the spirit of the Jewish people, In 70 CE, they destroyed the Second Temple, reducing the heart of Judaism to rubble. The once holy city was now a shadow of its former self, and with it, the hopes of many. Yet, what the Romans couldn't destroy was the unshakable faith that had been forged through centuries of struggle. The Jewish people, scattered and heartbroken, did not lose their identity. They carried it with them. The diaspora began, and the Jews found themselves spread across distant lands, from the reaches of the Roman Empire to the farthest corners of the world. Though their physical home was no longer theirs, their connection to Israel remained unbroken, a flame that refused to be extinguished. Communities arose, each adapting to its new surroundings but never forgetting the history that bound them. Their faith became their refuge, and their culture, their strength. In every corner of the earth, the Jewish people persevered, their hearts always longing for the day they would return to the land they had never truly left. As the centuries of exile stretched on, the longing for a homeland never faded. The flame that had burned in the hearts of the Jewish people through centuries of dispersion, suffering, and survival was about to find its spark. In the late 19th century, one man, Theodor Herzl, would awaken that flame into a blazing vision, the dream of a Jewish homeland. Herzl's determination and foresight turned the impossible into a mission that would eventually change the world. His dream of a Jewish state was not just a political idea. It was the restoration of dignity, hope, and identity for a people scattered across the globe. Herzl's vision found its voice in a world that was on the brink of enormous change, and soon, others began to follow in his footsteps. David Ben-Gurion, a man whose name would become synonymous with the founding of Israel, rose to lead the charge. Ben-Gurion's fierce resolve brought together Jews from all corners of the world, uniting them under a single purpose: to establish the State of Israel. Through wars, struggles, and countless sacrifices, he stood firm, unwavering in his belief that the Jewish people had a right to their homeland. As Israel's first prime minister, Ben-Gurion's leadership carried the weight of generations who had dreamed of this moment. But it wasn't just him. Golda Meir, known as the Iron Lady of Israeli politics, rose to prominence, her strength and resilience a reflection of the Jewish spirit. With unwavering courage, she guided Israel through its most challenging times. The State of Israel was born, not just from the ashes of the past, but from the enduring belief of a people who refused to be forgotten. The journey that had begun with prophets and kings, exiles and struggles, now entered a new era, a triumph of faith, perseverance, and destiny. The path of the Jewish people was never smooth. After centuries of exile and hardship, their faith was tested like never before. The Holocaust, one of the darkest chapters in history, sought to erase their very existence. But the Jewish spirit proved unbreakable. From the ashes of loss, a new hope emerged: Israel. The establishment of this homeland was not the end of their struggles, but a testament to their resilience. Even today, the Jewish people face challenges, but they continue to stand strong. Their journey defined by triumphs that speak to their enduring faith and unyielding will to survive. The Jewish people had weathered centuries of suffering, exile, and unimaginable loss. But within their hearts burned a powerful truth: their story was far from over. After the horrors of the Holocaust, the world watched in disbelief as the Jewish people, who had once been scattered and oppressed, began to rise again. The vision of Herzl, the dream of Ben-Gurion, and the sacrifice of countless others finally materialized in 1948, the creation of the State of Israel. It was a triumph like no other, yet it was born from years of pain, bloodshed, and perseverance. The Jewish people had returned to the land they had been promised, but their journey was just beginning. Israel faced battles not only with its neighbors, but with the weight of history itself. Yet, even in the face of war, Israel blossomed, turning deserts into lush fields, transforming a land ravaged by conflict into a thriving nation. The modern Jewish state became a symbol of resilience, a place where the Jewish spirit, unbroken through centuries of hardship, finally found its home. Israel's rebirth wasn't just a political victory, it was the fulfillment of a prophecy, the culmination of the struggles, dreams, and sacrifices of an entire people who had never stopped believing. As we reflect on the long, unyielding journey of the Jewish people, we can't help but marvel at their unwavering strength. From the ancient days of Abraham, through the trials of exile and destruction, to the rebirth of Israel, the Jewish people have endured and thrived against all odds. They have faced the darkest moments of history, yet their faith, resilience, and spirit have always guided them toward the light. Every chapter of their story, from the prophet's words to the wars of independence, shows us the power of identity, belief, and unity. The journey is far from over, and as we look to the future, we must ask, what's next for this remarkable people? How will their story continue to evolve in a world that's ever-changing? If you found yourself inspired by their journey, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Join us as we continue to explore history's untold stories. Watch the full video, share it with others, and stay tuned for more chapters in this incredible tale. The best is yet to come.